Hi, Namaste. My name is Henri Jolicoeur. I'm a French-Canadian hypnotherapist that has worked with thousands of clients, and my special field of interest and study is brainwashing and mind control by cults. Today I would like to give another book review for the book Gold, Guns, and God by my friend Henry Doktorsky. This book, like his previous book, Killing for Krishna, described but in more detail the assassination of Stephen Bryant, Sulochan It. But before I go into the review, I would like to say that I have a lot of love and respect for Henry Doktorsky. He's a wonderful man, now 66-year-old, an accomplished musician, accordion, piano, organ. He's a prolific writer. He's a loving son to his mother and father. He's a loving father to his son and daughter and grandchildren. And he's using his life in a positive way. Henry was initiated into the Hare Krishna movement at the age of 23-year-old. He became a disciple of Kirtanananda Swami, Kirtan. By his own admission, he was completely brainwashed in the Hare Krishna movement. He believed completely that Kirtanananda was a pure devotee of Krishna. He believed it so much that he worked and worked and worked for this community for many years. 1 year, he was sent picking, which means getting money under false pretense in malls, sports events, etc. And he collected $150,000 for his spiritual master, mostly in bills of $5. That's between 25 and 30,000 times that he met people and asked for donation. He was working 7 days a week, sleeping little, his life fully dedicated to Krishna consciousness, until he found out the truth about his guru being a prolific pedophile. I'd like to go over the principal character in this book. The first one is Kirtanananda, who was born in 1937. His legal name was Kirtan. He was a lifelong homosexual. Here we see him with his lover, Weeler, spiritual name Hayagriva. They met in a gay bar in 1960, and they were lifelong lovers. But worse, these two were also pervert and pedophile. Weeler having orgies with workers that he would bring from Mexico to New Vrindavan. And Kirtanananda did abuse possibly hundreds of young boys, giving them fellatio and secrets. And for many, many years, the disciple of Kirtanananda taught that he was a saint, a pure representative of Krishna. And one of the reasons that this did happen is because his guru, Swami Bhaktivedanta, did tell the community of New Vrindavan several times that Kirtanananda was a pure devotee of Krishna. And since the devotees of Krishna in New Vrindavan taught that Swami Bhaktivedanta was himself enlightened, a pure devotees that could not make mistake. They took his word to be the ultimate truth and had no choice but to follow the orders of Kirtanananda. Kirtanananda was an hypocrite, a liar, a deceiver. The only time I really dealt with him was in Calcutta in 1970. This is a picture of me around that time with the Beatle George Harrison when he came to Paris. When I arrived in Calcutta, Swami Bhaktivedanta was just starting a new center in Calcutta. There was really no Hare Krishna centers in Bengal or in India for that matter. About 10 devotees were living in a small house in Calcutta. And when I arrived, Kirtanananda had started a program where he would invite the neighborhood kids, 5 to 10-year-old, to come take showers in the house. And he would look at them and enjoy seeing those little Indian boys naked. He would feed them and send them away. My friend at the time, Tamal Krishna, who was one of the leader of the Hare Krishna movement at the time, was absolutely scandalized. He thought, the neighborhood will think that we're pedophile. So he asked for my help to go talk to Swami Bhaktivedanta to stop this program. And after we explained to Swami Bhaktivedanta that this could give a really bad impression of who we were, he stopped Kirtanananda from this program of giving showers to young Indian boys and looking at them naked. And then, a few days after that, Kirtanananda came to talk to me. We were about 20 feet from his guru, Swami Bhaktivedanta. We were separated only by a thin wall. And he told me, he said, you know, the monks in Tibet, they have sex between each other. And he looked at me like, you know, do you want to have sex with me? He was right in my face. I told him, not interested in this matter. I had been in Paris for the last year dreaming that one day I would serve directly my guru. And here I was now directly serving Swami Bhaktivedanta. And this guy, who was at the time the only sannyasin, or monks that had taken vows of celibacy, coming to propose me really, to have sex with him. This guy creeps me out in 1970, and for the weeks or months that he was around me in Calcutta, I avoided him like the pest. And then I was surprised to hear that not only he became a guru of the Hare Krishna movement of 1977, but he created this community where hundreds of people, and possibly a few thousands around the world, believe that this pervert was a pure devotee of God, an enlightened master. Next character in the book of Henry Doktorsky is Tirtha, Thomas Drescher, that you see here. Thomas was given the name Tirtha when he took initiation from Swami Kirtanananda. Tirtha was born in 1948. His parents didn't want to take care of him, so he was given to another family at birth. He was severely abused by his stepfather, and his stepmother went completely crazy and finished in a mental institution. Thomas then went in the army in Vietnam, where he killed many people and received many medals for his bravery in war. When he came back to the United States a few years later, he was suffering from PTSD, although it was not very well understood at the time what PTSD was all about. He carried with him a scrapbook, apparently of people he had killed in Vietnam, with some gruesome image that he would sometimes show to some people that he wanted to scare. I don't think that Thomas Drescher was really an evil man, but his experience with violence in Vietnam, when combined with the brainwashing of the Hare Krishna movement, where some believe that it's okay to kill for Krishna, to kill for your spiritual master, if the person that is to be killed is what they call a demon. And that's what happened in New Vrindavan. Kirtanananda knew that Thomas Drescher could use violence, and he ordered Thomas to first kill Chakradhari, Denis, that you see here, a member of the New Vrindavan community that was dissatisfied with how Kirtanananda was running the community. At one time, Denis, who was a drug dealer, gave possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars to Kirtanananda, but at one point he was demanding that Kirtanananda gave him back $80,000 donation that he had given. So basically, Kirtanananda ordered Thomas Drescher to kill Denis. And the killing was described in the book as something absolutely horrible. Thomas Drescher was so brainwashed that he thought that if the person that he was killing would say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, well, the soul of that person would be liberated and go to the planet of Krishna. He killed Denis with a dozen bullets of small caliber. And then when Chuck would not die, he stabbed him dozens of times with a knife and then a screwdriver. And then they got rid of the body. That was his first murder in New Vrindavan. Then he was ordered to kill Sulochan Bryant, who the New Vrindavan community, and especially the lover of Kirtanananda, Hayagriva, thought that he was a danger for Kirtanananda and was going to kill Kirtanananda. So Thomas Drescher decided to kill Bryant, asking only $8,000 to do the work. And as you will read in detail in this book, he proceeded to go to Los Angeles. Eventually, he found Bryant and killed him with 2 bullets in the head. But just before killing him, he told him, chant Hare Krishna, I'm now going to kill you, thinking that Again, if he would say Hare Krishna, his soul would be liberated. Who was Sulochan Das? Stephen Bryant. I have learned a lot about this young man. He was not a saint. He was somebody that also was deeply brainwashed in the Hare Krishna movement. He was a disciple of Swami Bhaktivedanta. And what really got him over the edge in his fight to expose the terrible crime and pedophilia of Kirtanananda is that one day Kirtanananda decided to initiate the wife of Sulochan without his permission, and basically told everybody that it was not important that she was the wife of Sulochan because this was only a temporary relationship, husband and wife in the material world. The most important was the relationship of a disciple with him, the spiritual master, because that would last for eternity. Sulochan became real upset, basically started a war against Kirtanananda and the New Vrindavan community, trying to expose the crimes, the financial crime, the pedophilia, the homosexuality, but basically nobody wanted to hear what he had to say or whatever he was writing about. Because as a person, he was violent. He used to beat up his wife. He likes to carry guns, drink alcohol, use drugs. No one wanted to listen to what he had to say, except some of the members of the New Vrindavan community that fear that he would eventually come and kill Kirtanananda. And in a very strange way, he did expose the community and brought the whole community of New Vrindavan down and sent Kirtanananda to jail. But it took the investigation of his own death to do that. In an indirect way, he is a hero. Because of his death, things did stop in New Vrindavan. The pedophilia could have increased enormously, but this did stop Kirtanananda from abusing more people physically, sexually, and financially, for a while anyway. Kirtanananda is now dead. Thomas Drescher, Tirtha, is in prison, probably for the rest of his life. Sulochan is dead now and gave his life to try to expose the terrible abuse happening in New Vrindavan. But there's another character in the book of Henry that is responsible for the death of Sulochan and has never been punished. Not only has he not been punished, but he has become one of the greatest spiritual master of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The guru possibly with the most disciple. Some of the wealthiest people in India are disciple of this guy. They worship him. They gave him a lot of money. His name is Radhanath Swami, Richard Slavin, a very important character in the book Gold, Guns, and God. For you see, although there was hundreds of devotees living in the community of New Vrindavan, very few were philosophically trained to understand the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and other books related to the philosophy of the Hare Krishna movement. And one of the top men in New Vrindavan that was considered a philosopher, and from the beginning, when the decision was made that Thomas Drescher was to kill Sulochana Radhanath, was the spiritual advisor, a mentor, an encourager to do this crime. In Henry's book, there is a quote of Radhanath that said, "Now Sulochan posed a threat to Kirtanananda. For that reason alone, this guy must be transmigrated to another body. In other words, he must be killed." In another conversation with a devotee called Janashtami, Radhanath said, "Sulochan is a demon, and demons have to die." The last few weeks before Tirtha took action to kill Sulochan, he was in constant phone communication with Radhanath. He needed to be pumped up so that he could do that deed to kill the enemy of Kirtanananda. And a few days before the actual killing, Radhanath flew to Los Angeles. Did he meet Tirtha? That we don't know. If you are a disciple of Radhanath, go ask him, is it true that you were an accomplice in the killing of Sulochan? I'm ready to challenge Radhanath anytime, anywhere. If he wants to make a video with me and Henry Doktorsky and deny on camera that he said those things, I think that would be a great thing to clear the air. Is it what he now believes, that there is devotees and then there's demons, and that demons should be killed? Sulochan was not a demon. He was a confused young American that had been used and abused by the cult of Kirtanananda and did not know how to deal with all the information that he got of Kirtanananda being a pedophile, a thief, a gangster. As far as Radhanath is concerned, I'm reminded of a conversation that I had with Swami Bhaktivedanta in Auckland, New Zealand, around 1971. It's probably one of the most important exchange that I had with Swami Bhaktivedanta while I was with him. A group of devotees of Paramahansa Yogananda came and visited Prabhupada. So Swami Bhaktivedanta started to talk about who is self-realized and who is not self-realized. I had never heard him over the previous year talk about self-realization, except to talk about who is a pure devotee of Krishna or not. But here he was using the language of Paramahansa Yogananda, self-realization. And looking at me, he told me that Paramahansa Yogananda was highly self-realized, and that Aurobindo, he was a little self-realized. He told me that it is very important to be self-realized if you are to be a spiritual master. The Bhagavad Gita, the self-realized soul can show the truth because he has seen the truth. He has experienced the truth. So the 100 or so guru out there that claim to be representative of Prabhupada, are they self-realized, or they're just believer making other people believe things? Can Radhanath be self-realized and hiding that he was an accomplice in the murder of Sulochan? Is that possible? I would take another look at Radhanath if I was one of his disciples. I would ask question. There is a lot of lesson to be learned about cults, reading the books of Henry Doktorsky. Similar gurus are walking the planet right now. Heterosexual gurus raping dozens of women and still claiming to be holy. If there's one thing to learn from the books of Henry, is that you have to take care of your heart. You have to take care of your mind. You do not give your life and power to anyone except God himself. Henry speak with experience because he was himself deeply brainwashed by the Hare Krishna movement. And it takes a lot of effort to deprogram oneself from a cult that you've been involved for years. It's possible. And Henry Doktorsky is a shining example of one that has now a very successful life, a very positive life, helping others to see what the truth is all about. Thank you very much, and namaste.